Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. It is Thursday morning, September the 3rd, and I'm Bill Allen sitting in for Winston Chester. We got a great show lined up for you today with a lot of tips and tactics for this changing weather that we're going to be coming into soon. I promise it's going to get cooler. And I also got a special guest here that's going to talk about some of the gear that's being used right now. So let's go ahead and look at our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. The high today is only 88 with the low of 74. Now we got a wind this morning coming out of the west-northwest at 5 to 8. And it's going to switch around to the west at about 7 or 8 this afternoon. Not at all bad for fishing. Now we're looking at a high tide around 11:37 with a low at 7:43 tonight. We don't have a whole lot of tide movement going on. We're coming into the 4 tides. You can still catch fish. It's just a little more difficult. And our average water temperature now has dropped from 86 to 84 degrees. So believe it or not, it is getting a little bit cooler, and that's going to change the way that we start chasing the fish. So we're going to take this quick break, come back with our special guest. All right, welcome back. I'm joined here now by my good buddy and excellent fisherman, Mark Cowart. A familiar face, but we've...
Good morning, Bill.
We've been playing with products here.
We have.
It's that time of year. It's starting to cool down a little bit.
No doubt. I mean, as you get
slowly,
into this...
but it's starting to.
As you get into this fall, the transition is actually very gradual, and you don't quite notice it, but when you were talking about water temps...
2 degrees make a lot of difference.
It's absolutely, it does.
It's the start.
Yes,
it is.
It's
the start. So
it's about time.
Where are we going from here?
Well, as these fish get to start feeding as the fall transition, one of the things that you got to start looking at really hard are what they feeding on. They're feeding on mature shrimp in the bay. They're feeding on whitebait in the bay, be it menhaden, different things like that, even pinfish. So what I did was I brought some of our favorite transitional baits to kind of share what I fish with, Michael fishes with, Bill, and everybody fishes with. And one of the things that I brought this morning was the new, it's 1 year old, but it's the Trout Trick jerk shrimps. So it's kind of a really unique bait in the sense that Z-Man makes, that it has somewhat of a stick bait look, as you can see, but it's also got little kickers at the end that swim really well. So this bait, I caught a fish on it just the other day. This is a great bait that you can take this bait and you can either hop it off the bottom, and as most people know, what Z-Man baits do is that they'll sit, the Z-Man bait on rest will sit tail up. As they set tail up, then you hop it, it swims up and it falls back down. But this bait is great for hopping, but you can also twitch it, it'll swim back and forth, it'll jerk, almost like a jerk shad in a way. You get a lot of reaction out, or you can slow swim this right on top of the grass. It is an excellent transitional bait going into the fall. It's a great bait year round. And I made a post on social media the other day talking about this, and I've got this rigged on the weedless eye, or the eye strike Texas eye jig head. It's an articulate head. It swings free, but it allows it, at rest, this head will sit on the bottom and this tail will float straight up and sit just like that. It is a great bait. Yeah. It's an amazing bait. I know that Bill was talking about, he's been throwing a lot of jerk shrimps, and it's that way for you.
Yeah, the jerk shad.
Yeah, jerk shad.
And also that really nice 30-inch red I caught a while back was on that smaller shrimp rig like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't seen these heads, you haven't used these heads, you got to get a hold of them, because it's devastating. It's irresistible.
It is unbelievable the way this jig head works. So here's the same bait in a different color. It's another really good transitional color. You got a little chartreuse with that bone color mixed in, and it's on the weedless eye head, which is the same exact design of the head, but with a jig head style with a weed guard on it. Now, this is the one that Michael and I worked and helped iStrike design. It's a devastatingly effective jig head for paddle tails, for anything like that. You can throw it on a twitch bait, jerk bait, flute, any of that. But we really like it on this. This is the one that we will take and fast hop because it stays intact and it really rides well in the water. And this is essentially 100% weedless. It doesn't grab and you're not going to miss any strikes. The way the weed guard works, it's a heck of a product right here. It's really worth trying. The other thing that we're seeing is this time of year is that we go in the transition. This is a twitch bait time of year. And here is a Savage Gear twitch bait. It's called the Twitch Reaper. This is a deadly, deadly, deadly twitch bait. It suspends, it doesn't sink, and when you're ripping it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you pause it, you go about 2 or 3, twitch, 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 and pause, twitch, 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 and pause, you would be shocked at how hard they will strike this bait. They'll take it right out of your hand.
Baits or something else.
It's unbelievable.
All right, we got Jeff standing up, moving around here in Studio B where we don't have the same timing system. So let's go ahead and take this first break. We'll be right back with some more. All right, welcome back. Segment 2. What do you got for us, Mark?
Well,
we're going to talk line a little bit?
We're going to talk about line now. One of the things you have to do, especially in this ultra clear water, as these fish get more aggressive, you still want to keep your boat as quiet as possible in the shallowest waters you can get in. Line is one of the most overlooked items. You know, if you come to one of our seminars, or we've talked about it a dozen times, you know, Fred Myers, who I tell everybody is the Kevin Van Dam of redfish, and one of the things I heard him say very early is you've got to get the bait as far away from the boat as possible.
True.
So one of the things that Michael and I discovered was this High Seas Grand Slam braid. What makes is 10-pound braid, its breaking strength is greater than 10 pounds. You're not sacrificing anything, but this braid is a third thinner. So when you're talking about 10-pound, it's competitive braid, Power Pro, spider wire, this line is the same breaking strength, but it's a third thinner. So what does that equate to? That means you're going to throw it further.
Right.
And in going into the fall, and especially in the winter, we throw a lot of 10-pound braid, a lot of it. Because we'll throw a lot of things like these. This is a new hex spoon by Precision Tackle. It's a great, great spoon. It's very sturdy hook, durable. But this little 1/8 ounce spoon, when you're throwing it on 20-pound or 15-pound Power Pro, you're really limited to your casting distance because it's just not enough weight. But when you pair it to the right line, in just an average condition, you can throw this 1/8 ounce spoon or this 1/8 ounce bait 35 yards.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's unbelievable. If you got a little wind behind you, you can throw this spoon 45 yards. The other thing that we try to do is we downsize. We typically use 20-pound fluorocarbon in the winter and fall. We go down to 15-pound fluorocarbon. And because what you're trying to do now is, again, you're trying to reduce your profile. You're going to smaller baits, more finesse style presentation. So you want a little lighter fluorocarbon.
In less water.
In less water. You want to go to a little less stiffness in your fluorocarbon. And again, you're using a 15-pound fluorocarbon with a line that's got a 10-pound line. You're still well within, it's not like you're trying to use 8-pound fluorocarbon on a 10-pound line.
You have to change the knots or anything else. It works fine.
One of the things is that we have really come to understand is that the weight in the boat. And what can we do to reduce the weight in the boat to get us to float shallower?
You mean besides us losing weight?
Besides us losing weight, which no matter how hard we try, that doesn't seem to happen. A year or so ago, Michael and I had gone through about 3 sets of batteries in 18 months. Lead cell on the trolling motor batteries, then AGMs on the trolling motor batteries, then the group 27 wasn't enough, and then we went to the group 31 AGMs. I mean, we're spending $300 and $400 a battery, 36-volt trolling motor system. So you're spending $1,000 every time, and they would only last us a year because there's only so many charge and recharge cycles in a battery. If you fish a lot, people are changing their AGMs out yearly. Yeah. Especially if you have to depend on your boat and it's good how you make money, tournament fishing or for Michael guiding. We came across this. This is LBP, lithium battery power. They're out of Tampa. This is made in the United States. This is a smart battery. There's a computer chip in this battery. This battery is probably the most game-changing thing we've run across in fishing in the last 15, 18 years. This is a one box, Group 31 size, 24 volt, 75 amp trolling motor battery.
Right there.
Right here. 5,000 life charge recharge cycles, a full 10-year replacement warranty, no questions asked, and this 24 volt battery would normally weigh about 55 pounds and 2 AGMs, okay, 212 volts.
Yeah.
This weighs 25 pounds.
Mark handed me that out of there. I thought it was just a shell.
That's a 24 volt.
He handed it to me out of the truck this morning, and I thought it was a demo, but this is actually it.
That's it.
And you know, my flats boat has a 24 volt.
Well, that one is for my new boat that I've got being built right now, and I'm going to be running a 24 volt system.
Well, you don't even have the boat right now.
Well, I know. Michael,
so anyway.
Well, hang I may never get this back. Michael runs a 36 volt system in his boat. He runs one 36 volt lithium battery power battery, 60 amps. It's equivalent essentially to 3 31 group AGMs that weigh about 75 pounds each.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so he's at about 200 and something pounds of batteries. He's running one lithium battery power, 36 volt, trolling motor deep cycle battery that weighs 33 pounds.
That's a tremendous.
Now,
difference.
you want to know as an angler, the importance of this is that battery will go from the entire time that battery runs, it's 100% performance to your trolling motor. So when you're running normally and you're typically going to run, let's say your trolling motor on 4, after you fish for 3 or 4 hours, you have to run it on 6, then 7 on to get the same amount of juice out of that lead acid or AGM battery. Because as the power drops in the battery, what it's delivering drops.
Right.
That's 100% until it's dead.
Until it's dead, yeah.
But the beautiful thing is this thing has a smart chip. It'll turn the battery off. You never completely let it go dead, so it doesn't affect the life cycle. There's no memory in that battery. And that battery from dead to fully recharged in an hour and a half.
Oh, Lord.
Sometimes an hour and 15 minutes, or an hour if the batteries, you only use, let's say, 40 or 50% of the battery. I hear all the time, oh, I'm not going to go pay $1,500 for a battery or $2,000 for that, the 36 volt. Michael and I went through 3 sets of AGMs in 18 months. We paid for that battery twice with AGMs.
But that boat's used a lot.
Yeah, well, that boat's fished every day, and on a tournament day, it's brutal. The other thing that's really cool, and I don't have any way to show it to you, I should have brought a box, is a new power pole charge system. It replaces the charger for your boat, and it manages your cranking battery and your trolling motor batteries. And as you run your big engine, it takes that power from the alternator and it charges, keeps your system charged up. So Michael and I can fish for an hour and a half or 2 hours on 10 hard, like when we're pre-fishing, just going through the water on that trolling motor, looking for fish, scouting. We'll crank the boat. Let's say we use 25, 30% of the battery in that 2 hours on 10, which had been a lead cell to be dead. If it was an AGM, it'd be almost dead. It completely is recharged in a 20, 30-minute run.
On a run.
On the power pole. So the lithium battery power, I'm telling you, you got to check them out. Go to the website. It's lithium battery power. It's unbelievable. LBP.
Man. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, let's go. We'll take this break. Be right back. Hey, welcome back. Mark had a meeting this morning, which I don't think was fishing. It better not be. But he had to take off. But I always appreciate Mark coming in. He and Michael spend an extreme amount of time on the water, and he's been a great resource. And you know, he left all this and he took the battery. So you know, who knows? I get all this stuff, but just want to touch bases real quick and do the river readings, which I had left out this morning. But Apalachicola at Bluntstown is 8 feet and steady. It's not rising or falling much at all for the rest of this week. And Choctawhatchee at Caryville is 6 feet and has a slow fall to it. So if you're looking at a peak time today, it's listed at 1:51 p.m. to 3:51 p.m. Like I said, we don't have a lot of water moving today, but you know, there are some opportunities out there. So just to kind of recap, you know, what Mark has said, which, you know, we all know, you know, it's the water starts to cool down. These fish are going to move up more on the flats, move towards the mouths of the rivers and things like that. Not yet, but they're going to become a little more active, and they're going to be, you know, seeking that warmer bottom as it gets cold. And with what we usually have is very clear water in the wintertime, you want to go down in the size of your baits, you know, and that this is a finesse jerk shad, which is, you know, and similar to the design of the bigger one that I'm using right now. But as you can go down in size on these heads, this thing is just devastating. And same thing with the spoon Mark had up here. That 1/8 of an ounce spoon is, you know, you want to downsize a little bit, and again, try to match lighter colors usually because the water is clear. So anyway, that's just where we are. That's it's starting. We've gone from 86 to 84. That makes a big difference in the way these fish are starting to move and the activity. And also, you know, you want to keep an eye soon on some of the flounder that are going to be moving, ready to go out to spawn. And also continue to check with myfwc.com. And I know there's still, it's kind of confusion. They're still having some meeting on flounder that, you know, the size is going to go up to 14, and, you know, the limit is going to go to 5 per person, which, you know, I completely agree with. I always thought 10 was too many, really. But, you know, I think that some of that's still out. You know, it's hard for me to tell that, you know, exactly how it is right now. So check with FWC. If you find an officer, they're always glad to help you with that. If you know one, call them and find out. I'm going to do that very thing myself. So, you know, because I always look forward to this time of the year and try to target flounder a little bit more, and we'll have a show on that. We've got a couple of guys who just love to do it and specialize in it. So we'll talk more about how you can get out and take advantage of the floundering situation. As far as a updated scallop report, I mean, it is still open till the middle of this month, and I'm not sure if it's the 15th or 16th that it closes again. Look that up. But they're still there. They were hit very hard that first week, but due to some inclement weather, you know, it hasn't been hit as hard. But I understand that the water is clearing back up some, and I sent Jeff a couple of pictures from last week, I think, when we were down at the Cape, and you know, we never found them all in one place. You had to spread out, work, move the boat a little bit, look for the right kind of grass. But we were able to get 3 of us got our 6 gallons each time. And the weather got bad, so we didn't get the grandkids down there because the Saturday was just awful, Friday night and Saturday, so we're going to be planning on going back. But, you know, don't forget your dive flags. Go out there and look for that thinner grass and a couple of feet of water. And you know, my understanding there's still some around Presnell's over there, and it's, but it got hit very hard. There's scallops to be had, but you got to work for them a little bit now and continue to be mobile, kind of like fishing. You know, we'd hit an area and we'd drag the boat down maybe 100 yards or so, and then we'd hit that area. So they're there. You just got to work for them a little bit. And remember, if you go all the way around to put your boat in at the state park, they're limiting that to 20, and they will cut it off and not let you come in with a boat trailer, because remember their cabins are not open, their campground is not open. All that has to be rebuilt. The reason they have limited capacity now is because, you know, they're using some of that to when they're rebuilding the roads and a bridge and things like that all the way through there. But they're actively doing that. You can see that they've come a long way. So just, you know, be aware of that. Going back, talk just a little bit more about the line preferences, and, you know, a lot of times I'm going to fish 15-pound braid, 15-pound braid during the summer, and go down to the 10-pound, and maybe also go from a 15-pound fluorocarbon to a 10-pound fluorocarbon just to get more distance from it. Try to position, obviously everybody knows, where you're not throwing into the wind on that. You get some tremendous wind knots with that. But if you match the right rod and right reel with these lighter lines, you can get some really great distance out of that. Right rod is so important because you're not overstressing the rod, throwing too hard. Keep the tip up. I see so many people try to throw it a long way and then the rod's pointing down at the water when they're trying to throw out here. So if you can maintain that right in front of you, keep the rod high and try to keep the rod level so that the line pulls out straight, on the trajectory that you want the bait to fly, you're going to get a lot more distance with a lot less trouble and a lot less wind knots. So something to be aware of there. Dove season, as most of you know, is coming upon us, and now's a good time, if you haven't already done it, even if you did it at the end of the year, start cleaning those shotguns, start going through your equipment, get out, practice a little bit. Squirrel season is going to be right behind it down at the river and or everywhere, but it's a good time to go through all that. Don't wait till the day before. If you need something fixed, it's kind of late to try to find somebody. But make sure they're clean. Make sure the barrels are free of any obstruction. It's, your shotguns, your rifles. Everything's going to be opening up here soon. Same thing with your bows and your crossbows. Time to tune them up. Well, listen, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have. I hope you picked up some good information. Hope you have a great day. If you get the opportunity to do something great for somebody, do it. You'll feel better, and I'll see you later.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.